Welcome back to the channel, and thank you for dropping by to check out a new video. Just like the title says of this video, life is what you make it. And that will depend on things you do in your life of how your life actually will turn out to be. A lot of people will let others control what they do, and then they'll complain about what's going on in their life and trying to blame others. And all meanwhile, it's themselves letting other people control their lives. Life is no harder than you make it. If you do things that you shouldn't do, life is going to be hard. And you can't blame nobody but yourself. You have to work very hard in your life to make it a good life to have. So many people I have seen in their early years just do whatever they want to do in all aspects of everything. And then when they start getting older, they start trying to put their life together, but they haven't built the foundation that will sustain the life that they want. When you build a house, you have to build the platform, the concrete slab, or the structure of the first floor, and go up. So many people in their early lives, they don't build the foundation, they don't pour the concrete, they don't lay down the first floor, and then after they get later on in life, they're trying to work on building the second floor and the roof and all that. They hadn't even got the foundation of the first floor built yet. And they wonder why their life is just really not moving in the direction that they wanted. They tried to build the second floor and all, and when they're putting things together, after all the years they wasted, they're basically working on the first floor. So they're playing catch up. It's like just a simple example. If you want to say save when you got out of high school, when you're say 18 or so, then you say, okay, I'd like to have $50,000 saved when I hit 30 years old. I'd like to have $50,000 saved. That's great. But from high school until you're 23, 25, you're going out there and partying and everything and blowing your money. And then when you come 25, you try to do that achievement in 5 years. Makes it harder. So you have to work harder than you normally would because you, like I said, you're playing catch up. You're trying to catch up to where you should be, but at the same time you have to work and do the work that you would have been doing when you hit 25 if you've been doing all the work in the past. You got to do all the work in the past plus the work that you're supposed to be doing when you hit 25 to 30 all at the same time. That goes for anything. It's like in a relationship. You go out there and party and get up with whoever, as many as you can, whatever, just party and care less. And then when you try to find somebody to settle down with, get married, have kids and all, it's not going to be that easy. Sometimes it's impossible to find somebody that is going to be willing to settle down at that age. Most of them people, the good people, actually done what they supposed to be doing all them years, not partying and building that first structure of the foundation to build their life. And they can, at 30 years, 25, 30 years old, they can already be married, they got kids, they got a house. They're, 10 years ahead of you. They didn't waste time. It don't matter how bad your life gets. Don't matter how good you do, there's always something that's going to just come in the mix and just mess it all up. At least try to mess it up. It only messes it up if you let it. Just like the event that I had to go through, and you can read about it in my book. You can find it on Amazon. The link for it is in the description of this video. I had an ordeal that I had to go through. Did it put me through hell? Yes, it did. Did it stop me? No, not at all. Not one bit did it stop me from achieving the goals that I wanted and set in my life. Less than a year after I got back to society, I was back on my feet as if nothing happened. Because I put things in place in the earlier years before it all happened, so it would make it easier if a hiccup revealed and showed its ugly face in my life. Was it easy to get back on track? No. But I knew over time, doing things that I put in place and using the things I put in place before it started is going to get me back where I want to be and just continue going and still achieve my goals that I've set for my life. Some quotes that I've heard in my life that really helped me get through things and made me put things in place that would make it easier for myself to achieve things in my life. One I always heard, and it's very true: good things come to ones that wait, but not to the ones that wait too late. Of course, you can put things off, but if you wait too late, there's no getting them back. It's past its time. So you have to put things in place to achieve them things before the time runs out. Another quote that I like, and I do believe Benjamin Franklin said this one, is if you fail to plan, you are planning to fail. If you don't make plans for your life and work toward them, you are planning to fail because you'll have no goals to shoot for. You say, okay, I want to get out of high school, go to college, get a certain degree, get a nice job, get married, get a nice home, have 2 or 3 kids, and really enjoy life. Well, if you don't put certain things in place, you're not going to get any of that done. I mean, little things like if you don't go to school, to college or whatever, you may not be able to get the certain job you want because you have to have that certain degree. Not all good jobs has to have a degree. There's plenty of people that graduate from high school and never go to college and, make millions because no college is required to do what they want to do. Some people are so good at figuring things out or so good with their hands that no college degree will make any of that any better. It's like just little things. If you don't put things in place, or you don't do things that should be done to achieve the goals that you set. It's like if you don't put effort in it, you're not going to get a good job. If you don't show up on your, time on your job, you're late all the time. Eventually, your boss, if you working for a company, eventually, if you keep that up, they're going to let you go. You're not going to have a job. And everything in life pretty much works the same way. It has a little different characteristics to each thing, but it all pretty much works the same way. If you don't show up at your job on time, you might just lose that job. And if you want to get married, find a nice husband or wife, if you go to parties, as I mentioned earlier, just partying every weekend and sleeping with whoever, and and don't even think twice about it, while you should be out there looking for your soulmate to settle down and get that husband and a wife, but you're out there wasting time. Good things come to people that wait, but not the ones that wait too late. That's where that comes in handy, because if you wait too late, your opportunity to find a good one that is willing to dedicate themselves to you and you to them to build a life together at a young age, to get ahead of the game. By the time you get 30, 35 and you are looking for a soulmate, well, all them in the past, you already passed them up. They probably all married and got a house, settled down, and got kids and all, and living a lovely life. That could have been you if you didn't waste too much time and wait too late. Some things you don't get a second chance on. Don't matter what you do. That's just like you never get a second chance to make a good first impression. And that's a quote from Will Rogers. If you go to a job interview and you don't give a good impression of the way you dress that's appropriate attire for the job that you're applying for, you may not get that second chance to get that job. You got to make that first impression. You don't get a second chance to make the first impression. And that, again, that goes for many things in life. If you're trying to get a job, you've got to have that first impression. If you're trying to get a soulmate, you've got to have that first impression. You can't just wally dolly around and do whatever you want and sleep with whoever you want. Go get this job and go get that job, get fired from this job and care less, and then expect when you get 25, 30, 35, try to get your soulmates, try to buckle down and get a good job and all. You probably have wasted too much time and waited a little too late. You might have to settle. I've seen people that will get out of high school, go to college, get a degree, and go party around and say, okay, I got this degree, that's going to get me a job. And they go party around and all with their college friends after they graduate and everything. And beach parties and all every weekend, summer after summer. And then when they get 30, 35, they take the degree and start looking up jobs and they can't find anything. It's like, oh, we're looking for somebody a little bit younger that's got some experience. Well, the only experience you got is how to party and play, what is it, beer pong? Well, that's not the experience that they are looking for. So you're kind of out of luck. Good things come to people that wait, but not to the ones that wait too late. Everything in life is that way. It don't matter what it is. And one other thing that really can stop you of achieving your goals, whether that's a job, getting your soulmate, traveling, buying a car, certain car that you want, something that you saw in your childhood, like, oh man, I would love to have one of them cars. Or the location that you want to live. Maybe you were born in a certain state and you just want to not just travel, but you want to move somewhere else. Say you were born in New York. Well, it gets brutal up there when it gets cold weather. But you are more comfortable in weather that's pretty much year round, like Florida. Maybe not, Texas or Arizona, where it's really dry heat. It's still hot. I've been there. I've driven all the way to Arizona, and that dry heat. It's still there's heat attached to that saying. It's dry heat. Well, heat is heat because that dry heat it just makes it even harder to breathe. Dry means there's no hardly any moisture in the air and it dries things out, and that's even including when you try to breathe in. You can feel the heat of drying things out in your throat and everything. Every place has its perks. But like I said, if you live in New York, born and raised in New York, and you're like, I just don't like the cold weather. I don't like cold weather. Even I'm here in North Carolina, and I don't like the cold weather that we get, but it don't last that long. I mean, it can be cold, and I have to stay in for the weekend because by Monday it's back in the 60s and 70s. It can work that way. I've seen it where it was uh, rain one day and the sunshine next. I've seen it where it was high today, 40, and next day it won't even get below 40. That's the way the weather works around here on the east coast of North Carolina. It always has, as far as lived here. But perhaps you, like I said, you live in New York. You don't like cold weather. You're like, okay, when I get older, I'm just going to move to Florida, something where it's always nice, warm weather. It just makes you more relaxed, more enjoyable, makes you want to get out and do more, be more energetic, be more productive. Well, by all means, move to Florida, regardless of what people say. Oh, it's hot down there, and whatever excuse they make, don't let them stop you. They say, oh, you need to go to college and get a degree and get you a 9 to 5 job working in the indoors, whatever, a desk job or something that's uh, dependable that you can get 40 hours a week. And I just want to laugh at people that say you cannot make a living or it's not worth of doing like gig work like DoorDash and Uber Eats, Rideshare, Lyft, um, all them gig apps. They say, oh, it's wear and tear on the vehicle. It's not worth it. It's not sustainable. No job is sustainable. You can get fired at any time. Big companies, they can shut down. They lay off thousands of people at any given time. Don't let others discourage you of doing what you want to do to make you have a better life. If you like flexibility, sign up for all them gig apps and have that flexibility. Get up. You can still work 9 to 5 and get your 40 hours in. But if you want to take the weekend off, you can. You can have health insurance, life insurance, just as if you're working at a W-2 job. They say, oh, you got to pay, taxes. And all. Well, any job you have, you got to pay taxes. Usually, say 30%. Well, every time you dash or you go do Uber Eats, rideshare, every time you cash out, take 30% of that and set it to the side. When you work for yourself as an entrepreneur, all that responsibility falls on you. There's more you have to do yourself to be and having that freedom of, I don't want to get up this morning. I'm going to sleep in till 10, then go do work. I don't have to worry about getting up 6 o'clock in the morning and be at work by 8, get up at 6, and get dressed, maybe take a shower, eat breakfast, and then get to work. No, you don't have to worry about that. If you have kids, and see, when it comes to kids, it's even more flexible. You get up and get the kids to school and all. You don't have to worry about getting to work because work starts when you want it to start, not when it tells you to start. So don't let people stop you from doing what you want to do. So many people I have seen, and people I've known personally, that has gone to high school and went and got a degree, and they flat out refuse to stop doing that kind of work just because they got their degree in it. Oh, I got my degree. All that money I put into it. Well, if it's not making you have a good life, it ain't worth the paper that it's written on. I mean, if you can't find jobs in your area to give you 40 hours of doing whatever it may be that you have a degree or certificate in, what's the purpose of having it? I've seen people have a degree or certification and can't hardly get 20, 25 hours a week in their town to do that work. And they can do gig work and make more money at doing gig work in less hours of the week than they do with their degree they have from college. Now, of course, there's different ways you can solve that problem. You can go to a different town and you'll have more work of the certification that you may have, but they're not willing to move. If you want something bad enough, you would do what it would take to get it. If you're not getting enough work that you got a certification in or degree in, if not willing to move where that demand is, then you're just going to have to pucker up and suffer the consequences of not getting any more work. Or get on a different path and do something completely different to excel and go beyond where you are held back of trying to get a job in your college degree field. I know people that's doing nothing but gig work. They sign up for every one of them, and they say, well, in my town I can only do 3 that's really reasonable and profitable, makes it worthwhile, and the other ones, some of them I have to drive an hour to get to another town to be able to use that app because it's more profitable there than it is, and more in demand there than it is in the town that I'm actually in. That hour is worth driving. If you want something bad enough in life, Don't let anybody stop you. Don't let anybody put you down, criticize you, and try to take control of things that you're supposed to be in control of. We're all adults. We have our own lives. Do not let anybody try to control it. It's simple. Because if you do, you're just going to be miserable. Because once they got you hooked of you letting them do whatever they say to do, as soon as you let them control you and they have you hooked, your life is just going to be miserable because you have no control. And if you're in a position that you have to tiptoe around on eggshells, perhaps maybe you're living with somebody that you have to, in a way, follow their guidelines because of their age or anything. Like if you're still living with your parents or anything, you can't stay out late, even, like doing gig work or anything, and be coming in, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Some people prefer not to have that in their house. Now, some people say, well, you can come and go as you please. That's your life. Even though you live here at my house, I'll let you come and go as you please, and so you can better yourself. Some people are not willing to do that. But if you have limitations, you have to pretty much accommodate them with that, and all the hours that they do give you in a way, time frame of a day, take advantage of every bit of it. If they say, okay, you got to be in the house by 11 o'clock every day, regardless, fine. Find out how early you can leave. If you can't work, say, from 11 till at night until 1 in the morning for them 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever, and you don't leave home till 5 or, you don't leave the house until 7, 8 o'clock, see if you can get out of the house, get up at 5 in the morning and get 2 hours or 3 hours before. Put it on the beginning instead of the end. Or cut out other things that's not profitable or not doing you any good. And I'm including friends and family members or activities that you do is not doing you any good, like going out every weekend and partying, money wasted. You can be doing gig work just when your buddies out there drinking and getting drunk and everything, blowing their money. You can be out there riding around in air conditioning, listening to radio, going from restaurant to restaurant, picking up somebody's order of food and deliver it to them. Maybe some of your friends' house, you might end up there while they're drunk because they're too drunk to drive, and you'd be, taking some of their money. You never know. But if you want something bad enough, go for it. Don't let anybody stop you. But that's all I have in this video, and hopefully it helps somebody. But I want to thank everybody that has been watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting. And I will be, like I said, I will be making more content for this channel. When I get an idea or see a situation somebody's in, or something I see on the internet that I can twist it in a way to make a story out of it and get a valued point made, like what I did with this one. Don't let anybody hold you back. Life is what you make it. And it gave me ideas of things that I've seen in my own life, of people that's in my life, or some people are not still in my life because I cut them loose. I can relate to what I saw in some of the videos. I got this ideas to make this video. Then I added some things that I've seen personally. But don't let anybody control your life. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut, be nice, be generous, to accommodate certain people in your life that is value to your life, but don't let them take control of your life, and you'll be better off. You may get angry at them of things they do, things they say, but you just have to bite your tongue and move on, because you don't want to ruffle any feathers or anything like that, because it's not going to do any bit of good. You just keep doing and rise and grind to make your own life better, because one thing, you're the one that has to live your life, not them. Because if you make your life bad, you're the one that has to live with it. If you make your life good by not letting other people control it, you're the one that gets to live the good life, not them. So I will see you in the next video. Take care.